in other news, BTS, the beloved K-pop band, are to serve a mandatory Korean military requirements, starting with Jin, who is their oldest member. So I saw this in the news pop up. It's pretty crazy. Essentially, in South Korea, they have like a mandated military requirement. It's under conception system established under like to counter threats from North Korea. So I think like a while ago they like put this like system in place to counter threats from North Korea. So South Korea requires that all able-bodied men in the country have to serve at least 18 months in the armed forces by age 28. So by the your 28th birthday, you have to serve in the South Korean army. It's interesting because I feel like with us being in America and us not having these mandates in place, at least, obviously not these days, we're not used to seeing celebrities act like the rest of us. So it is very interesting because obviously like BTS is so incredibly famous worldwide. They have such a huge fan base. Actually, coincidentally, their fan base is called, which I was like, I had to take a double take, and me and Peter were looking at this. We were like, is this real? So their fan base is called the BTS Army, which I think is like interesting given the situation.
I could see them going for like a petition. Like their fan base is so big and so strong that I could see them somehow getting BTS out of this somehow, some way.
Yeah, there's a chance. So I guess the band's oldest member, his name is Jin. He had delayed his conscription for as long as possible and will now rescind his postponement request at this point. So I guess like he had already pushed it out a few times. So he's 29
it's like
already.
Jury duty. You postpone that.
True.
You send the mayor a couple $100 and you'd be like, no, come again in 3 years.
Yeah, true.
So what can't money not buy?
That's true. I agree with that. And there are a lot of corrupt countries where I feel like you can kind of pay your way out of that stuff, but obviously he's also probably trying to set an example. But he's 29, so he's already technically over the age of like what the requirement was. So he did already push it back a lot, and I'm pretty sure they already did get some like special treatment. It's actually very interesting because I was like doing some research on it, just kind of like seeing what the vibe is. So
it's not the vibe, I'll tell you that.
Basically, he's going to be initiating his first, so Jin, and then the 6 other members will also fulfill their military duties based on individual timelines. And then they just put out a statement saying both the company and the members of BTS are looking forward to, reconvening as a group again around 2025 following their service commitment. So they're going on a hiatus until 2025, until they all have the ability to serve, which is just crazy. You know what I mean? To think about, because they're like right now in such a huge, like a lot of bands break up, but like they're obviously like not at a spot where they'd want to be breaking up. So they're just going to put it on hiatus. And there was another like aside to this article where it said, in a country where K-pop has wielded enormous influence on politics and the economy, the worldwide success of BTS ignited debates about whether pop culture stars should be excused from military duties because of their artistic achievements. So kind of like what you were saying, I think especially in a country like South Korea, where they are a smaller country, BTS, I don't know, like they bring in so much money, like they do a lot. So it's almost like, do we excuse them because of all the other ways that they're in a sense, like I don't want to say serving their country because that's insulting to the military, so I'm not going to say that, but like they are like putting South Korea on the map in a lot of ways, and they're bringing in a ton of money, and do we excuse them? But I think that they kind of decided that
they're just gonna get over
they
it.
don't want to give people special treatment, but the BTS Army have been lobbying to keep the 7 men out of the barracks. That's been kind of like their goal over the past few months. And there's a lot of people that are like exemption supporters. So a lot of people think that they shouldn't have to serve because they say, the exemption supporters say that the K-pop mega hit like heightens South Korea's reputation as a cultural powerhouse and contributed to the country's economy. So they're like, this band really put South Korea on the map in a lot of ways that we might not have been before. They brought in a ton of money. Like, should we really make them do this? So I think it's interesting.
I think in America that wouldn't fly. Like, imagine like
Brad Pitt, like
well, imagine, I was just gonna say, like, your favorite I don't know, Ariana Grande. Imagine like serving time with Ariana Grande. Like, in no world in America would that made no sense.
It is interesting.
It wouldn't happen here. It just wouldn't.
Or like Harry Styles, right? Like he's I think like 28 years old. Like Harry Styles going to serve in the army. Like it sounds crazy. Because you're right. You're like, they're probably going to be stuck. You know what? They're probably going to give them some sort of like military requirements where like maybe they're like not near people.
They're doing paperwork in the
Think
office.
about how many fans I'm sure they'd have. They're like, I feel like things would get crazy.
Yeah.
Like, think about how many people out there would be like wanting to talk to you.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like distracted from serving.
Exactly.
But I guess like what the people are saying is they're like, they can't make an exception because that would bend the rules to help the rich and powerful skip a national duty. So they're like, South Korea's culture ministry said on Monday that it will continue to review the conscription rules for K-pop stars with no considerations for fairness.
I give it 6 months. I bet they'll serve for like 6 months, and then they'll come up with some excuse as to why they're no longer.
Dude, 18 months is a long time. That's almost 2 years. Like that's basically the pandemic. Like when we were like, that's crazy.
I know. And I do think though, because they're so big that, you know, when I first read that they're going on hiatus until 2025, I was like, oh shit, like, hope you enjoyed your 15 minutes of fame. Like, you're going to come back and you're going to be relevant. But I honestly think that they have a chance of like staying relevant because like it's only 3 years. It's basically 2023. It's only 2 years. It's only 2 years. Yeah. 3, I don't know, whatever. But like, think about who's getting back together right now.
The Jonas Brothers go back together for a while.
So many people have gotten back together recently that were apart for way longer than 2 to 3 years. So I think they'll be fine.
They will be fine. But I do think it's interesting because I've never like really thought about all of this like that before.